So everybody, welcome to the craziness that is BrokenBuzzer. The high quality content that draws in subscribers. Hello. How is everybody doing today? Hello, loves. How are we all doing? So we're going to be doing Jeopardy Bootcamp. Today we are doing American Revolution. Now, I had play tested these questions. And today, you can only hope to tie me on the set. I did get all 30. So that makes me super happy. So, I'm so glad that you enjoyed this stream, by the way. So, I have a feeling that there's going to be other 30s. I also studied, when I was going to be on Jeopardy, the American Revolution probably harder than anything else. Okay, so again, do your best. If you don't know it, just jot it down. Figure out what, and you're going to hear me ramble on for a little bit. For each of these, I'll try to be as quick as possible. It won't be as bad as the before and after one, where it took a little bit longer. And I won't be tripping over too many words, as I did with the Africa stream, because the language is generally English, some French in there also. So let's get started. Question number 1. He wrote pamphlets like American Crisis and Common Sense in support of the American Revolution. He wrote pamphlets like American Crisis and Common Sense. Common Sense is probably the one that you're going to connect to the most. And whenever you see Common Sense, you should think of Thomas Paine. You should think of Thomas Paine whenever you think of Common Sense and the American Revolution. Question number 2. More Frenchmen than Americans participated in the 1781 siege of this town, the last major battle of the American Revolution. So, if you are not a fan of the craziness and the wonderfulness that is Schoolhouse Rock, in your PDF today, you're going to get some links in particular to one specific video that I need you to it's called The Shot Heard Round the World. And The Shot Heard Round the World will actually give you the majority of the answers tonight in a weird way. So, in Yorktown is where we had the surrender. I can't give away too much now, because that'll just give away future questions. So Yorktown is the answer here. Yorktown. So I will mispronounce number 3, but you shouldn't need it. And if I do, you can all forgive me. I know that Aces is relatively good with pronunciation. So if necessary, she'll just kick me in the butt twice. But only twice. Question number 3. The real name of this Marquis, an American Revolution hero, Marie-Joseph Paul Yves Roche Gilbert Dumotier. American Revolutionary hero in French. If you have seen Hamilton, you definitely know this is Lafayette. Question number 4. After secretly aiding the rebels for years, this nation openly aided the revolution in 1778. So, especially towards the end of the revolution, part of the reason that Yorktown was such a pivotal battle is that they were surrounded on land by the Americans at that point. Well, they weren't Americans yet, but they were also surrounded in the water. They couldn't retreat because the French was no longer hiding their affiliation. The answer is France. More French. Now, I've not said the answer to question number 5 6 times, and I've tried to. Though his surrender basically ended the American Revolution, this general got little blame for the defeat back home in Britain. The surrender at Yorktown basically ended the American Revolution. And as the song goes in The Shot Heard Round the World, Cornwallis surrenders and finally we have won. Hooray! Cornwallis. Question number 6. On July 9th, 1776, just hours after the Declaration of Independence was read publicly for the first time in New York, a patriotic mob tore down a gilded statue of this reigning king. Parts of it would be melted down and used as ammo against the British. George III. George III. Tell me in chat how you knew George III was the reigning, the reigning king. You'll be back. You'll be back. Question number 7. In 1780, Sir Henry Clinton refused to give up this man in return for captured John Andre. So Henry Clinton is a British Army officer. Who would he refuse to give up to come back to the United States? Who would he refuse to give up this? Who would he refuse to give up? Someone who would be completely eviscerated if he came back here. It's Benedict Arnold. Benedict Arnold. Question number 8. Oh, I feel a social coming up. After helping prevent Cornwallis from crossing the Raritan River at Trenton, he was Washington's right-hand man. So for those of you who are missing this question, what you're going to do at the end of this stream is you're going to log on to Disney Plus. You're going to log on to Disney Plus. If you don't have it, let me know. I give you my login information. And you're going to watch Hamilton. Question number 9. At Valley Forge, Washington had all his soldiers inoculated against this disease, greatly reducing deaths. Washington had all his soldiers inoculated against smallpox. Smallpox. Had a couple influenza guesses there. Question number 10. This legendary woman was based on Mary Ludwig Hayes and others who brought water to soldiers in the American Revolution. The key here is they brought water to soldiers. What is one way you can bring in or bring water to somebody? What is one way you could bring water to somebody? Well, you could bring it to them in a pitcher. Molly pitcher. Molly pitcher. 10 questions down. Those are our early boards. Let's continue on. Question number 11. Tories, Americans opposed to the American Revolution, were also called Royalists or these. Just change one letter. All you had to do was change one letter of Royalists to get the word Loyalists. Question number 12. Joseph Plum Martin described arriving at this Pennsylvania site in 1777 to take up our winter quarters with no clothing, no provisions, and disheartened as need be. So we just discussed this. The original social distancing. That place where we, took up our winter quarters with no clothing. Where we rested our feet. Was at Valley Forge. Valley Forge. Question number 13. Emerson wrote a hymn to this Massachusetts town that got in on Revolutionary War action on day 1. This one played tough. Because there were two real possible answers. One of them Lexington, the other one Concord. From the Poetry Foundation, there is the Concord hymn. The Battle of Lexington and Concord. But Concord is the one that was named for the hymn. Or the one that has a hymn named. Question number 14. John Adams literally sealed the deal to end the Revolutionary War, leaving his wax impression on the 1783 Treaty of this city. So the Treaty of Ghent ended the War of 1812. The Treaty of Versailles ended World War I. But the Treaty of Paris ended the Revolutionary War. Treaty of Paris. 15. Halfway there. Reason I got question number 15, I'll just say it right now. Shout out to someone who's not here, Jennifer Morrow. This one's for you. For those of you who know Jennifer Morrow. The standard for military training in the United States through the War of 1812 was a manual of regulations written by this Prussian officer whom Washington employed to train and discipline the troops. The military training manual and the one who Washington employed. And there might have even been talk about relationships from within the army, is Baron von Steuben. Baron von Steuben. Steuben. Question number 16. Also a senator from this state, Thomas Sumter, was the last living general officer from the Revolution. Also a senator from this state, Thomas Sumter was the last living general officer from the Revolution. So this is such a time where even if you aren't necessarily a fan of the American Revolution, but if you're a fan of something like the Civil War, this is something that you'd be able to score anyway. So the question really is, where is Fort Sumter? Because if you were able to make that bridge, you would know that Fort Sumter is in South Carolina. Question number 17. Overconfident British General Howe went into this 1775 Boston battle with a servant carrying wine on a silver tray. Overconfident British General Howe went into this 1775 battle with a servant carrying wine on a silver tray. It didn't happen at the place where the name of the battle even says it happened. It happened at a place called Breed's Hill, not Bunker Hill. Okay, question number 18. In the early hours of April 19, 1775, he returned to Lexington to retrieve papers from John Hancock's trunk. In the early hours of April 19th, 1775, it's weird because one of the clues here doesn't even seem like it's a clue. The early hours. You know, possibly a midnight ride? Possibly? The answer is Paul Revere. The answer is Paul Revere. Question number 19. The 59 cannon used to evict the British from Boston in 1776 were taken from this New York fort. Probably better known for something completely different right now, like pencils. The answer is Ticonderoga. Ticonderoga. Upstate New York. Question number 20, and the last one in the middle round. Rise to rebellion marks the start of the revolution with the 1770 clash of British troops and colonists. So this is a bit of a misnomer here, because even though the word makes it, or the name makes it sound like it was a tremendous loss of life, it really wasn't. Only 5 people died in the Boston Massacre. It's not. Okay, so there is one specific name of the most famous person to die in the Boston Massacre. Type his name in chat now. Who is the most famous death? Crispus Attucks. By the way, just to let you know, in the past, I think the past 15 Jeopardy tests that I've seen when they were scheduled, 75% of them had an American Revolution question on it. So if you're doing well here, that would be kind of a way to go. This is, again, I did a lot of studying for this. So I did a lot of studying for the American Revolution. It went from one of my weakest to one of my strongest. 21, this is the bottom row stuff, so we get to the harder stuff. For his elusive tactics in South Carolina marsh areas, guerrilla leader Francis Marion was better known by this nickname. So for his elusive tactics, elusive, and marsh areas. So elusive tactics, marsh areas. His nickname was the Swamp Fox. Question number 22. During the Revolutionary War, George Washington had many of these hyphenated confidential assistants, including Alexander Hamilton. But during the Revolutionary War, George Washington had many of these hyphenated confidential assistants. They are aides-de-camp. Aide-de-camp. Question number 23. This veteran of the Revolutionary War went on to be the first governor of New York State and VP under Jefferson and Madison. So, we had an answer just come in. We got an answer of Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton has a lot of funk to him, but he's not funky enough. He's no George Clinton. Question number 24. Shunned by his faith, Revolutionary War General Nathaniel Greene was paradoxically called the Fighting This. Was the Nathaniel Greene? A last call for answers. Get them on in. I don't want to go without you. Was the Fighting Quaker? He was the Fighting Quaker in the Society of Friends. Paradoxically called the Fighting Quaker. Question number 25. I will accept the correct answer. I will accept modern renditions of the answer. During the Revolutionary War, many American flags featured a rattlesnake with this 4-word motto. No one said no step on snake. We did get don't tread on me though. Question number 26 is my favorite one so far. Not Lafayette, but this French general brought his soldiers and maybe rocks, papers, and scissors to Yorktown. This is where your knowledge of rock, paper, scissors will help you. Because it's called as another name, you know? It's called Rochambeau. And if you're a fan of South Park, Cartman will Rochambeau you for it and then kick you in the nuts. Question number 27. During the Revolution, the U.S. issued these paper notes that shared a name with the Congress that issued them. The Congress that issued them was the Continental Congress. So as long as you had some rendition of Continental in there, I gave you the credit. Question number 28. In April 1777, Sybil Luddington pulled a Paul Revere-style all-night ride to tell of a British attack on Danbury in this state. So again, this is probably, for me, something that makes more sense to me because I'm from this area. But Danbury is a large city. Danbury is a large city in the state of Connecticut. Question number 29. Patrick Henry said his opposition to this 1765 act began resistance to taxation and led to the revolution, and you're welcome. If you need to know what the mega cause of the American Revolution, it could be traced back pretty clearly to the Stamp Act. Question number 30. This attorney wrote 5 essays in the Federalist Papers and was the principal author of the New York State Constitution. when you're thinking of the Federalist Papers, there are 3 principal authors. So the Federalist Papers have 3 authors. Most of them, as we know, were written by Alexander Hamilton. Some were written by James Madison. But this guy only wrote 5, and he got real sick. And that's John Jay. Y'all are fantastic. Thank you all for being here. There's a PDF for you. Please feel free. Feel free to download this. This will give you all the information you will need in order to study and get this information. It is absolutely worth it. And again, if you haven't had the chance to, follow us on Facebook. Best way to get in contact with us. Best way to find out when we're going live. Good night, everybody. Peace. But Jason started today by dressing up as me. He started yesterday by dressing up as me. So, Amy, before we get started, can you please say the magic words? Redeem hat stuff. So, for those of you who know, this is now my shark hat. Because I also like Jason wears stupid hats. Oh, here it is. Hi, LK. I have a stupid hat on. Amy redeemed hat stuff, LK. Sharks.